look at number 1. Remember that I always have like my markers and my pens and all the things in here, so if you want to use any of those on the quiz and use some different colors, you're always welcome to do that. Okay, first of all, let's decipher this. What is this asking me to do?
To add F and G.
Yeah, just add them. Do you remember we talked about the fact that there's this extra bonus x at the end and it almost looks like it wants me to multiply? But that's not what it's asking me to do. It's a weird, bad shorthand notation. So I'm going to take f of x. Again, you can do it in 2 colors if you want. So there's my f of x. And I'm going to add my g of x. So again, that's saying please add. Deciphering it is half the battle. Do I have a buddy that I can add to x squared?
Yeah, 3x
3x
squared.
squared. Okay.
No longer love them.
Now I've got negative 3x. Do I have a buddy for negative 3x?
Yeah, positive x, 5x.
5x. And then these two are my plain old numbers. So let me actually go through, now that I've kind of grouped things together, I'm actually going to add them. 1x squared plus 3 more x squareds gives me what? Yeah, 4x squareds total. So those are good. And sometimes I like to check them off so I don't even try to do more stuff with them. All right, positive 5. I'm going to look at this one first. Positive 5 minus 3. 2.
It has to be in order from the highest.
I like them to be in standard form. Am I going to mark you wrong for it? No. But, probably not, yes. But do I like it? No. Okay. Also no. 5 minus 1. 4. Good. So very similar to what we saw on the Kahoot we just did for the warm-up, just a little bit trickier because we actually had paper pencil. Go ahead, Michael.
Question. How do we know when it's like 4x squared and then the plus after? How do we know that we put the plus instead of the minus?
Because you look at what you have. So when I go to the next term, it's going to be 5 take away 3, and that's a positive 2. So each term you'll kind of look as its own separate thing and decide is it positive or negative. Okay, next one. Oh, that's hard to tell. Again, I feel like my eyes are getting old. That looks like a minus to me, yeah? Like barely, because if I compare it to the next one, I can tell it's a minus. So this one is asking me to please subtract. If it uses its nice words, it's saying please.
If it doesn't use nice words.
Yeah, then we're not going to do it, right?
No.
Okay, f of x. Let's write f of x first. I'm going to write my minus. What do I need to put around g of x? Do you remember? Yeah. I'm going to put parentheses around it because I need to subtract all the things that are a part of g of x. Not just
Wait, why do we do that?
because we need to subtract all the things. Honestly, you could even put parentheses around this one. You could always put parentheses around the second one. Not with addition because it's just adding it, right? But subtraction makes a difference because when I distribute that through, so I'm going to rewrite mine.
You just gotta distribute the 8.
I'm going to distribute the negative.
Oh.
So it becomes negative x squared plus 8x minus 10. So that's, I think, the important part. And I think it is worth it to do this second step so that way you can look at everything. I think there's a better chance at getting it correct. All right, let's start with the x squareds. 2x squared, take away 1x squared. How many x squareds do I have left? 1x squared. Good. Check those off so I don't try to look at them again. Negative x and positive 8x. So basically 8 take away 1.
7.
Yeah, I have 7 x's left. And then I have 8 and negative 10. 8 minus 10. Negative 2. Good. Again, though, this is a spot where show your work, because if you make a mistake somewhere and like one of these is wrong, I'm still giving you credit for the others. So make sure that you're showing me as much as you can. Okay, we kind of already discussed this when I was trying to figure out if that was a minus sign a minute ago. What is this one?
That is.
Please multiply. Again, I'm just assuming that it's asking us very politely and saying please.
You should put please on the test.
I should put pretty please. All right, so I'm taking, it says g of x first. Honestly, it doesn't matter what order we multiply in, but let's just be rule followers and do what it says. So there's my g of x, and then I need to multiply it to f of x. So again, you can put everything in parentheses if that consistency helps you.
We do this all the time.
Yeah, you can put parentheses around all of them. But then if it were addition, Michael, there'd be a plus in between it. If it were subtraction, there'd be a minus in between it. So just, there's no symbol here because we know that means multiplication. We could have put a symbol though. Okay, 2x times x gives me what? 2x squared. Oh, do I not have the magnets in? 2x times 10. 20x. Negative 5 times x. Negative 5x, good. Negative 5 times 10. Yeah. So,
This is supposed to be review?
yeah. You remember multiplying?
I don't remember,
Wait, do we have a test tomorrow?
Quiz. But
Same
again,
difference.
do we have a quiz tomorrow?
Same difference.
Yes, but if we actually do, I'm not going to be thrilled. Hi, Miss Livingston. Oh, let's hear her take on it. Here, all right, resume. All right, let's combine our like terms in the middle. Remember, they always kind of end up living in the middle, so that's nice. So the 2x squared doesn't have a buddy, and the minus 50 doesn't have a buddy, but that middle term I can deal with. So what is 20 take away 5? 15, yeah. And then we need our x with it still. And so this will be my final answer. And again, you can use the calculator on the test tomorrow if there's anything that you're a little nervous about that you feel like calculator would make me feel more confident. You can always use that. But again, I hope it's not tomorrow. But again, it will be potentially.
We do not.
Yeah. All right, let's start at the innermost set of parentheses, which is f at 2. So we start like as far inside as humanly possible. So I'm going to plug in the 2. It's saying please plug in the 2 to f of x. So instead of x squared, I have 2 squared minus 10. Okay, so use your order of operations. What do we know 2 squared is? 4. Take away 10. Negative 6. Okay, so remember we were calling these like double plugger inners, so we plugged in once. Let's plug in again. So now, instead of this, I really have g at negative 6. So let me go to g of x, and let me plug in negative 6. So it gives me negative 6 plus 1. Well, what do we know negative 6 plus 1 is? Negative 5. And that's my final answer. So you should have 2 steps of work. If you don't have 2 steps of work, you didn't do enough. If you have 3 steps of work, what was it, Jemias? You ran a 400 and a 100. Yeah. All right. Next one. What do we need to plug into first? F or G? G. Because it's the innermost thing. So let's start with G. G at 1. Here's g of x. Instead of 4 times x, it's 4 times 1. Well, that's easy. What's 4 times 1? 4. Okay. Now, we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to plug in 4. So, f at 4. All right, this one's a little bit trickier because we've got a couple different places to plug it in. So, we've got 4 squared plus 4 minus 1. Okay, what do we know 4 squared is?
16.
Yeah. Plus 4 minus 1. So 16 plus 4 is, I agree, 19 overall, because 16 plus 4 is 20 minus 1, 19. Now, Do you remember that if we're squaring something negative, it should go in parentheses?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can always plug this in parentheses. It's a good idea to keep that consistency. Because if it's a negative, it really is going to have an impact. Literally.
No, it is on the back side.
There sure is. If we don't practice it, we're not going to be ready. There are only 3 questions. It looks like 4, but there are only 3. Yeah.
I mean,
I think
number
we
8.
only gotta do 2 then, like, that's not too easy.
Well, yeah. They shouldn't, none of them should be that bad.
We should get
So just skip it. Just skip it. Pretend it's not there.
It's not there.
All right.
It doesn't exist.
All right, I'm going to make these into y's because remember f of x is a fancy way of saying y. So I'm going to start with that. All right, number 6. What do I need to do first?
You got-
Yeah, flip them.
Oh, okay.
X equals 5y plus 8. And again, remember, you could write it over here. What did you do? You flipped x and y. So if it's helpful, you could write yourself a little note off to the side so tomorrow or Tuesday you remembers what Thursday you was doing. All right, now we want to solve for new y. So we want to get that y alone. What should I do first?
Bring that 8 over.
Move the 8s. Okay, so I get x minus 8 equals 5y.
And then you do 5y, just 8 times 5.
Yeah, we're going to divide everything by 5. Now, there are 2 ways you could write this answer, and I'm fine with either. Are you ready? You could write it x over 5 minus 8 over 5. So you could have them as 2 separate little fractions. And this would get you 100%. That'd be full credit, all the things. You could also write it as x minus 8 all over 5 because those are the same common denominator, right? So I can smush them together as well. So this is an or situation. I don't care which one you have. You don't need both, but you need one or the other. And either of them are equally perfect, equally lovely. And yesterday I had my y on the other side, right? So it said equals y. Was that okay too? Yeah. All right, next one. So let's start by flipping x and y first. All right, how can I get rid of the minus 2? Add it. Perfect. X plus 2 equals y divided by 4. Then what? How can I get rid of the divide by 4? Opposite would be times by 4. And again, we have to multiply it to everything. Like you can't pick and choose. It has to go to absolutely everything. It has to. It almost reminds me, like I always think of like, you know, think about like kindergarten when you brought in snacks, right? Like what if you brought in cupcakes for everyone except one person? That would be awful. So I'm just saying, like everybody needs it. Y equals 4 times x?
4x.
4 times 2? 8. And remember, we talked about this briefly yesterday too. It would be lovely if I could add those together and like my answer could just somehow be 12x. But can I add these? No, because one has an x, one doesn't. They're not like terms. All right, you know how to do the last one. I'm going to write my answer, you're going to write your answer, and then you're going to look and make sure we match.
Can I go to the bathroom?
My angel's
Yes.
here.
Great observation skills applied.
All right. How'd we do? Okay, so we're actually already done. We have lots.